Alrighty. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Charles Sturt's 2025 Virtual Information Night. So we're very pleased to welcome you to our nursing and paramedicine session. My name's Jordan Buick, and I'm the Engagement Officer with Charles Sturt University. And here we're joined by our academics from the School of Nursing, Paramedicine, and Healthcare Sciences. I'll introduce our academics a little bit later, but just to begin with, as a bit of housekeeping, just know that this session is being recorded. So if you don't want your name recorded during the Q&A discussion at the end of the presentation, please just choose to remain anonymous when submitting a question. So we'll have about 10 minutes at the end dedicated to answering your questions live. So feel free to throw in a question during that time or at any point during the presentations. And if we don't get to your question for any reason, we'll be able to provide contact information for you to reach out to one of our teams. And we'll just move forward. Thank you. And so just to start off with, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of all lands in which we're meeting today. I'm currently located on Wiradjuri country, but we also want to acknowledge the Ngunnawal, Gungandaran people and the Bapai people of Australia, so the traditional custodians of the land where our campuses are located. We want to pay our respects to elders past and present and extend this respect to any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders people that are joining us today. Perfect. So it's my pleasure just to introduce our two academics. So we have Dr. Judith Crockett and Louise Well from the Faculty of Sciences and Health. And so I'll now pass to Dr. Judith Crockett, who will take us through our Bachelor of Nursing online.
Thanks, Jordan. It's actually
I'll hand over to Lou.
and then Judith for paramedicine. So I'll go first. So hello, everybody, and welcome along. So in this session, just talking to you about the Bachelor of Nursing course, we're just going to have a look at what it is that nurses do, why study nursing at Charles Sturt, having a look at our entry requirements and also our workplace learning component of the course, which is a significant part of our program, and looking at career opportunities as well. So we'll move on to the next slide, please. So Bachelor of Nursing, also Charles Sturt has been a leader in rural and regional nursing education for a very long time. So for over 40 years. And I myself am a proud graduate from both our Bachelor of Nursing course from quite a while ago now, and also our Master of Nursing course as well. So we have a long-standing reputation with over 10,000 graduates having completed our Bachelor of Nursing. And many of these students have been from a regional or remote area, so making up about 60% of our nursing and midwifery graduates. So we've got a really strong presence in our regional communities. We're number one for nursing graduates who get jobs, with 90% of our graduates employed full-time within 4 months of graduating. And job prospects for registered nurses in Australia are excellent, particularly at the moment where we're seeing significant workforce shortages, and particularly in rural and regional Australia where nurses are always in demand. And there's always a really wide variety. One of the great things about nursing, and one of the things I've always loved about nursing, is the variety and the different opportunities you have to explore different fields of nursing throughout your career. So there's lots of employment opportunities. Next slide, please. So what is it that nurses do? I know when I first started, I always wanted to be a nurse. I really didn't know a lot about what nurses actually did though. And I was very lucky that when I started the course and found out that I loved it and I enjoyed it. But there's lots of different aspects to the registered nurse role. So we provide autonomous care, but also collaborative care with working with other members of other health disciplines to provide care to individuals, not just people who are sick, but also looking at families and groups and communities who are well and trying to keep them well. So we work across all settings. So health promotion and prevention of illness is a really important part of the nursing role, as well as caring for people when they do become sick. And there's roles in direct clinical care in a range of specialisation areas. There's roles in research, participating in shaping health policy, inpatient and health systems management as well. So yeah, careers in nursing are extremely diverse, very rewarding, and nurses are in demand locally and around the globe as well. So, there's always something for everybody in nursing. So why study nursing with us? We have a range of flexible study options available. So you have full-time or part-time study options on campus. So we have our 5 campuses at Albury, Bathurst, Dubbo, Port Macquarie and Wagga. So you can choose to study as an on-campus student on each of those campuses. We also have an online offering as well. And you can choose to do a mix of both online and on-campus study as well. So some students choose to do, for example, their subjects where they're in the lab, in the simulation learning environments each week. They choose to do those on campus and do some of their other subjects online. So you can fit it in around what works best for your learning style and also what works best for your other commitments as well. So with the online intake, there's 2 intakes a year, so session 1 and session 2. But for on-campus, there's the session 1 intake for on-campus students. And because we're located in regional communities, we have really strong links with all of our local health districts in New South Wales. So Western New South Wales Local Health District for Bathurst and Dubbo, Mid-North Coast for Port Macquarie and Murrumbidgee for the southern part of the state, Albury-Wodonga Health as well. And we do offer intensive schools. So if you're an online student, you need to come onto campus to do those simulation learning experiences. And we offer intensive schools for those from a range of those campuses that we've got mentioned on the slide there. So we'll move on to the next slide. So one of the most important parts of our Bachelor of Nursing course is our 800 hours of workplace learning experience. So that's the requirement for you to be able to register with the Nursing and Midwifery Board of Australia after you've completed the course. So that 800 hours is spread across the 3 years of full-time study. You can do them less often if you're studying part-time, but the clinical placements start in the second half of the first year of study, and then there's 2 placements per year for second and third year. So once you have completed the degree, you're then eligible to register with AHPRA, or the Health Practitioner Registration Agency, as a registered nurse. We also have a range of tutoring services that are available to assist you in your studies, to do the best that you can do with your studies, including a number of support services that are inbuilt into our subjects. We have tutorials you can see on the picture on that slide there. So of our Bachelor of Nursing students working in our simulation learning laboratories with one of our mannequins that we use. So we have simulation learning environments on every campus that we offer the Bachelor of Nursing from. We use the same equipment that they use in New South Wales Health to make the environment as authentic as possible. And that's where you go to learn those hands-on skills before you go out onto placement. And for the Bachelor of Nursing for domestic students, there are Commonwealth supported places available. And yeah, so we're really looking at providing you with that support as you work your way, particularly as you're transitioning into study within the Bachelor of Nursing and getting used to study at the tertiary level. So next slide. So entry requirements. So as I said before, session 1 is offered on campus or online, and that starts usually right at the end of February or at the beginning of March. Session 2 is online only. The ATAR for the course is 65. You can defer study, but some of our offerings at the moment we can't defer, and that's the online offering and also Port Macquarie on campus. We do require evidence of English literacy, and that's just so that you can meet the Nursing and Midwifery Board of Australia's English language requirements when you go to register. So we want to make sure that you'll be able to meet those. And that's really just for students who are, if you're born outside of Australia, and English was not your first language, there are certain requirements that we have to be able to demonstrate that you'll be able to meet. If you are an enrolled nurse and you wish to become a registered nurse, you are eligible for the first year of the course as credit. So you can then complete the Bachelor of Nursing in 2 years full-time or 4 years part-time. So there's no prerequisite knowledge as such, but because of the nature of nursing, so looking at having to do medication calculations and safely administer medications, mathematics is important. We do teach foundational anatomy and physiology in the first year of the course. So science background is helpful, but if you don't have that, we do start from scratch in those anatomy and physiology subjects. And computer literacy is important these days with any study, because there are some online components even with the on-campus subjects. So next slide. Yeah, so I just mentioned before, so we do have admission pathways. So I mentioned before that the ATAR is 65. If you have a certificate 3, and it doesn't have to be in health services assistant, if it's any certificate 3 in any field, that meets the requirement and you're eligible for entry into the Bachelor Certificate 3 in Health Services Assistance, then that's a really good pathway into the Bachelor of Nursing. So we don't offer credit, but you do get entry into the course, and it does help with those foundational nursing skills. If you are an enrolled nurse with a Diploma of Nursing, though, you do get that first year or 8 subjects of credit into the Bachelor of Nursing and complete, as I said, in 2 years full-time or 4 years part-time. And we've just introduced from 2026 a new subject for students with a Diploma of Nursing to introduce you and transition you into that Bachelor of Nursing study. So we've talked about work integrated learning or placement a little bit earlier, but the key thing is that it gives you the opportunity to relate your theory and practice, and also the skills that you can see our students practicing there in the simulation learning environments. It allows you to then put those skills into practice. We have really strong partnerships with our health services in our local, around our campuses, as well as metropolitan areas as well. And it provides you with that experience in a variety of contexts. So we make sure across your placements that you are placed in a variety of different settings, so you get exposure to different areas of nursing and potential employment opportunities. We have a lot of our students end up going back to work in health services where they've done their placement and made a really good impression. And there's also, we've got their potential international workplace learning opportunities may be available at this stage. We're not offering those at this stage, but it's something we're looking at into the future, but not in the immediate future. Okay, so we've talked about the fact that job prospects for nurses are excellent, particularly in rural and regional areas, but also in metropolitan areas as well. And as well as that, our Bachelor of Nursing is recognised in a lot of countries around the world as well. So that provides you with the opportunity to travel and while you work. There's employment available in public and private healthcare facilities, and there's both public and private transition to practice programs available for when you complete your degree. And one of the great things about nursing, as I said before, is that opportunity to choose an area of specialisation that suits you. And there's a range of different specialisation options. So my clinical background was in critical care nursing, but I also did operating theatre nursing for a little while. There's lots of different specialisations you can do. Paediatrics is really popular, child and family health nursing. There's community nursing. There's a range of different areas, and you can then go and do a postgraduate qualification in that area of specialisation if you choose to do that with your career. So just mentioned, we've talked about the Bachelor of Nursing. One of the career options following completion of the Bachelor of Nursing is to look at becoming a midwife. So you can do a Bachelor of Midwifery course at other universities that just provides you with the Bachelor of Midwifery, which means you can work as a registered midwife. If you do the Bachelor of Nursing first and then do a graduate diploma of midwifery, and we do offer that course, it means you have dual registration as a midwife and a registered nurse. And that can really help with employment opportunities, particularly if you are wanting to work in rural, regional, remote areas where employers like you to have that dual qualification so that you can work across different parts of the health service. So that's a 12-month program. So at the end, it doesn't have to be right at the end, but later down the track as well, if you want to go on to become a midwife, you get a position as a student midwife through, for example, New South Wales Health, and then come and do the midwifery as an online student for 12 months. And then you do all of your placement during your employment. And we do offer some graduate certificates in nursing. So at the moment we have rural and remote nursing, and that's a relatively new, and there's not many of those particular specialisation courses available in Australia at this stage. Leadership and management, and also clinical education. So there's some examples of some of those areas of specialisation that you may choose to go into, and postgraduate qualifications that we offer to help you with those specialisations. Okay, so there's a range of scholarships and support available. So we know that going on placement, sometimes away from home, attending intensive schools if you're an on-campus student, an online student, can all add up and be reasonably expensive. So there are subsidies that are available to support students. So for example, there's New South Wales Health study subsidies, where if you work for New South Wales Health after graduating, they can support you with some fees and technology and travel expenses. The Victorian government offers a nursing and midwifery scholarship scheme for students at the Albury campus. There's now the paid prac payments, the government support that's coming through for prac payments, so nursing students are eligible for that. New South Wales Health also offer workplace learning grants that you can apply for funding to help you pay for accommodation, for example, while you're on placement. And we keep our website up to date with all of the available scholarships that are there for nurses to access. So there's a link there to that website. And if there's any additional ones that come up, we add those in, and we make announcements via our Bachelor of Nursing course site as well to let you know about some of those scholarship opportunities. Okay, so that's nursing covered. And yeah, you can pop test questions in the chat, and I'll hand over now to Judith, who's going to talk to you about paramedicine.
Right, thanks, Lou. So just a brief overview. Why study health at Charles Sturt? We've already talked about that with Lou. We'll have a brief look at the paramedicine course. We'll talk about simulated facilities and equipment, a brief coverage of the course structure, and probably of greatest interest to you, career opportunities. So why do we study health? Well, as Lou's mentioned, there's an amazing amount of opportunity out there in rural and remote communities in particular, but also across Australia more broadly in all health opportunities, but of course also particularly in paramedicine. And we're number one for graduate employment across the board, and our graduates enjoy some of the best salaries in Australia upon graduation. Just like nursing, most of our health grads, the majority come from rural and regional communities in paramedicine. So we pride ourselves on hands-on practical based degrees from day one. And I'll talk a bit more about those simulated facilities in a minute. So why study paramedicine? As a paramedic, you're going to play an integral role in the healthcare system. Charles Sturt has one of the few dedicated paramedicine degrees in New South Wales that leads to registration with the Paramedicine Board of Australia. So the paramedicine course has been running for over 25 years at Charles Sturt, and our graduates are recognised both in Australia, in New Zealand, and have a very high rate of employment internationally as well, especially in England, United States, and Canada. So you'll learn from academics who are international leaders. They bring diverse overseas experiences to the curriculum, and we have really close ties with the largest ambulance service in Australia, New South Wales Ambulance. We've got state-of-the-art simulation facilities and equipment on campus, and what you do in class, whether it be during face-to-face weekly classes or intensives, is very practical. It's very hands-on. And when you're visiting Bathurst campus, for example, you'll often see the students out with simulation scenes saving someone's life, saving the mannequin's life, and so on. So you'll also do supported work placements. So at the moment, 560 hours of work placement, which gives you the opportunity to work, get experience in aged care, patient transport, and then as you get more skills, actually going out on road with the ambulance services. With our qualification, you'll be able to gain employment nationally and internationally. Next slide, please. Yeah. So I've just mentioned simulated facilities and equipment. One of the most popular simulation facilities we have are our sim ambulances. So we have those sim ambulances based in Bathurst and at Port Macquarie, and that gives our students the opportunity to go out on simulated ambulances out into the rural communities, out in around town, and actually practice their skills in a simulated environment. We also have great lab spaces on campus, again, both in Port Macquarie and in Bathurst. Next slide, please. So just a couple of examples there of our facilities here in Bathurst, where I'm located. So Bachelor of Paramedicine is offered on campus or online. On campus, you have the opportunity to study either in Bathurst or Port Macquarie, and online as well. So online course is 3 years in duration, and the on-campus course is 3 years duration, and the online course is 4 years. So the course is professionally accredited by the Paramedicine Board of Australia. So that's a really significant factor. So it's possible to defer places in Bathurst, but because of the popularity of the Port Macquarie offering and the online offering, it's not possible to defer either of those locations. So there's 23 subjects in total, 4 subjects a session, 2 sessions per year. That's a full-time structure. The part-time structure online is slightly different, usually working out at about 3 subjects per session. So you do anatomy and physiology, communication and professional practice, assess and manage trauma and medical patients, cover specialist topics including cardiology, obstetrics, paediatrics and mental health and aged care, and the clinical placements, as I've mentioned previously. So many, many career opportunities. You can deliver community-based paramedicine, working closely with health providers in urban, rural and remote communities. You can work in emergency, ambulance and out-of-hospital healthcare environments. We've had graduates work in state ambulance services, international ambulance services, as combat medics with the ADF, private sector paramedics such as event paramedics. We have a number of graduates working in the mining and industrial sectors. Retrieval paramedics is another opportunity. Communication centre dispatches, education roles, humanitarian roles. Many people think of paramedicine as just lights and sirens. There's a lot more to it than that. And extended care or primary healthcare practice is a really strongly developing opportunity for paramedic graduates. So I think we've got a short video. No, we haven't. Okay, that's cool. And thank you very much. Happy to answer any questions.
That's all right. Thanks so much, Judith. So what we'll do now is we'll just move into sort of our Q&A, but before we progress into that, I'll just invite Sam and Harrison, two of our students, and we're just going to have a bit of a discussion with them. And again, if you have any questions as we're talking, feel free to put them into the Q&A. So just for the people that are participating, if you put your messages into the meeting chat, it may not be anonymized. So you have to put it through the actual Q&A. There should be a button there at the bottom of your screen. You are welcome to ask questions in the chat as well. So this is, so I just want to introduce Sam and Harrison. So these are two of our students who are both studying online. So Sam's currently completing a Bachelor of Nursing, while Harrison's completing a Bachelor of Paramedicine. And so Sam's a full-time student studying nursing. He's nearing the end of his second year. And he actually started his nursing journey at the age of 36. And this was driven by a lifelong passion to care for others and give back to the community. And before pursuing nursing, Sam actually built a career in education. He spent the past decade in executive leadership roles within the federal government. And then Harrison's one of our online Bachelor of Paramedicine students. So he began his career with New South Wales Ambulance in 2022 as a trainee ambulance officer. And working full-time on the road, he's been completing his degree online, gaining first-hand insight into the realities of balancing that study with frontline healthcare. And I believe, Harrison, you're currently on an intensive at the moment. Is that right? Are you in the university accommodation?
I'm at Port Macquarie.
Oh, brilliant. Right on the coast. So what I'll do is I'll just ask you guys a question. Sam will answer first, our nursing student, and then Harrison will respond. And again, if you guys have any questions for any of the faculty or even our students here, feel free to pop them in. So I guess firstly, what made you choose to study, nursing and paramedicine online?
So for me, nursing was always something that I wanted to do, but I went down some different pathways before I've come back around to it. I live regionally, I'm in the Albury-Wodonga area, so for me, going full-time on campus just kind of wasn't an option. I needed that flexibility to be able to have my family life, work commitments, and then also study. So I knew that the online course through CSU was going to give me that opportunity for that flexibility, and it certainly has. It stood out probably as a really strong reputation with the online study. I've had friends go through around my age as well, pursuing their nursing online and to become an RN. So it just kind of made sense. And yeah, has been fantastic, really flexible. And I've been able to maintain those responsibilities while also having full-time nursing degree.
I found the decision sort of found me, to be honest. I was my background, I was a firefighter as well as trade qualified, so I was a mechanic and an auto electrician. Paramedicine was something that I'd always sort of wanted to do, and the opportunity to study that online through this employment pathway, I would not have been able to do this any other way. The flexibility with the self-paced and independent sort of aspect of online learning, it just meant I was able to balance study with shift work and family commitments, and to be able to work full-time, progressing academically at the same time was just, yeah. Like I said, I wouldn't have been able to do it another way. CSU's access to the high quality, the learning resources and academic staff, as well as the physical learning spaces, without the need to relocate, was something that was greatly appealing as well. Yeah, and it's been great. It's been a really good decision.
Yeah, brilliant. I feel like you both have sort of answered this one already, but I guess on the topic of flexibility, you know, how do you find fitting that around your work and your family and your other responsibilities?
I guess for me, I try and what I started with was to try and break it down into those little like manageable chunks across the week. So, nights are really handy to listen to some lectures. Obviously, in the coursework, they're pre-recorded. All the tutorials as well, they run live, obviously, but the times don't always fit in with work commitments or family. So, there might be times where I'm listening to a tutorial. I found going for walks with the dog. I've even had the tutes going, or lectures going, listening into them. So that's, I guess, when I'm not on placement. When I'm on placement, it's a pretty different feel. Placements can be pretty full on. They're very intense at times, but they're exceptionally rewarding because you really get to put into practice what you're learning and all that theory that comes to life. So you have to do sometimes juggle some assignments around the placement times with the placement blocks. It is how it is, but you manage it, and your time management and how you set your week out really helps from there.
I definitely agree with Sam. It's where you can fit it in, and how you can sort of make it work for you. But I guess that's also one of the most appealing aspects of online study. Having access to the content, and then being able to digest that content when you can, lets you sort of maintain that balance. I found it was always good you could put a lecture on in the car while you're driving, all sorts of stuff. You just find ways to fit it in everywhere. And people sort of work is reasonably understanding of that kind of thing. Family's usually pretty supportive of that kind of thing. But CSU offers suggestions and plans and support on how to do all that sort of stuff as well, and how to manage everything as the session goes on. And yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. And I guess just on that topic, we think about the experience of being an online student. I know that I've just dropped out of. I know that for some people they do worry about studying online. You're not always on campus. Obviously, you have the intensive schools and things. How do you find the support that you receive as an online student in your course?
It's fantastic. I honestly couldn't have asked for more. So even from like week one of starting the degree, you felt just like you would be an on-campus student. I did my on-campus Bachelor of Education a long time ago, and was young and on campus, and I still feel the same support as I did back then. So you have the support of your subject conveners, your peers as well. Online doesn't mean that you're not connected to people. You'll start to recognize names and faces on the discussion forums. You'll meet people on the intensive weeks where you go to the different campuses, and you'll start to build those connections. And those are the things that really keep you going and keep you supported. The discussion, the questions that you're burning in the back of your mind on an assignment or something, you can guarantee someone's asked it on the discussion forum at some stage. So you can jump in there and have a look. Even when you go to intensives, it is, as they say, it's intense across those 3 to 4 days. It's a lot of learning, but you are supported by all of the lecturers, the facilitators, who get you to, that hands-on and really, I guess, give you the reassurance that you can do this, and it's something that, if you're passionate, that you'll succeed in. So no, it's been, fantastic.
Again, Sam nailed it. The online support from the lecturers and peers and that sort of thing through the online forums, and it just it was far greater than I expected or anticipated. There's so many different forms and versions of support available from Charles Sturt. found their social support to be fantastic. They manage to support online students or distance students in relation to the unique challenges that we face. It's just so well. They have such a long-standing history of that, of education in this sort of forum, that they've just nailed it. There's even the content is approachable in a way that makes you feel like you have the tools that you need to succeed. The format of everything is just, the entire experience is essentially supportive. There's never, I don't think I've once found a barrier that wasn't, that didn't have a resolution as far as that sort of stuff goes. So yeah, no.
Brilliant. And just this last question, I'll do it as a bit of a double header, but I guess if there's one thing that you think about as having been most rewarding as a student studying nursing or paramedicine, and then is there anything as well that you'd say to someone who's considering online study?
Most rewarding, like I think for me, it's putting the theory into practice when you actually go out into the community on your placements and you actually are hands-on making a difference, because that's why you've chosen what you've wanted to do. So for me, it's kind of in the intensives when we're working with the mannequins, learning about blood transfusions or inserting a nasogastric tube or something, actually getting out and seeing it in real life is amazing. And knowing that all of that support and all that reassurance the CSU's given you behind you to say, you can do this, this is something that you're going to do so well at, it makes you want to keep going and really drives that passion. Advice for online. So stay organized. That would be my biggest, as much as you can. Online learning every week is going to be different. Obviously, that's why you've chosen it, because you've got other commitments and other things. Try and start some planners or some to-do lists around when your assessments are due, especially when you're on placement. I know in the nursing degree, 800 hours, it's long, and there's, when you're on a 4 to 5 week placement block and you've got other things going, you really need to have that organization there. Engage with people, go to different intensive school locations if you can. I've been to Albury, I've been to Wagga. You meet different people, you meet different facilitators, different lecturers. So and reach out early if you need help. There's so much support behind you with CSU, not just from the lecturers, but so many support programs and Student Central and things like that. Don't sit back and wait. Reach out and ask for help, because there's going to be an answer and there's going to be something there that can help guide you. And yeah, do it. Make the jump and do it, because I absolutely love it. I'm almost going into my last year and I can't wait to go out into the field as an RN. So if you're sitting there thinking, oh, will I? Do it. Jump in, and it's possible, definitely.
It's funny. I've actually never met Sam before today. So and we share almost exactly the same opinion and views on almost everything we've talked about, which I find really enriching about this whole CSU experience. Same, I can't reiterate enough. I did Bathurst in my intensives. I've done Port, and yeah, definitely agree with all the things that Sam's sort of saying as well. Most rewarding, I think, being able to apply the clinical knowledge gained through CSU in the real world context. That's huge. It builds confidence. It allows you to analyze and think critically, not only sort of in relation to patient care in line with the profession, but also everyday life. The course content is aligned so well with modern paramedicine, but the ability to analyze things and critically problem solve is such a highly transferable and versatile skill that you pick up through I've picked up through my time with CSU. Connecting with other students as well who share the same professional passions. That's a huge positive experience for me. The people that have come from a wide variety of backgrounds as well, including age and previous life experience and careers. that sort of, I think that really sets you up for a good future in a workforce that has a similar demographic, as well as the greater community who access pre-hospital healthcare. As far as what would I say to someone considering online study, do it. Absolutely do it. Do it through CSU. That's my my recommendation. They give you the utmost chance to succeed. I can confidently say that any apprehensions that you have will be appeased. It's second to none.
Perfect. No worries. Thanks so much, Harrison, and thanks so much, Sam. Just moving on with our Q&A. Again, if anyone has any questions, we do have a little bit of time. We've got 2 questions that have come through that I'll put forward now. So we've just got one prospective student is saying they're interested in enrolling in the online nursing program. Could you tell me how many days of on-campus attendance are required for the simulation lab sessions, as they have a 3-hour commute to the nearest campus? So one thing I'll add just before I pass to Louise for this particular student, so you do have access to on-campus accommodation when you are doing the intensive schools. So as we kind of joked about before, it's actually where Harrison's located now in Port Macquarie. And as for the number of days on campus, I'll just pass that over to you, Louise.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, it's each simulation learning subject has a 4-day intensive school in it. So if you're studying full time, you would have one of those subjects each session. So that would be 4 days per session that you would have to travel to or be on a campus. And as we just said, there is accommodation available on campus as well, so that you can sort of travel to the campus you're allocated for your intensive school, and then stay on campus, do your 4-day intensive school and cover that. So that includes your simulation learning classes, and there's a clinical assessment in each of those subjects as well that you do as part of that intensive each session. You can split that up a little bit if you're part-time. You can give yourself, do one of those subjects every year and only have one intensive to get to every year. So there is flexibility there that you can make it fit around what you need to do with your other, work-life balance as well.
Perfect, brilliant. And we've just got one as well, which is I'll direct to you, Harrison, at first, and then Judith, if you have anything to add. So we've just got Emily, and she's just asking, as an online paramedicine student, have you found any challenges with clinical practice skills when on placement, or felt any difference in knowledge and skills when compared to the on-campus students?
It's a really good question. It's actually probably a slightly difficult one for me to answer, given my program. I started with ambulance on road. What I can say is that being on road and interacting with students on placement from different unis, CSU students on placement are highly regarded, very, very, very highly regarded. The skills and knowledge that our online cohorts display at intensive schools are I would consider to be a very high standard. I don't really have a great deal to do with the on-campus students in the academic world, but I would say that they're pretty consistent with each other. So, yeah, probably a better question. Maybe I'm not sure. Judith, would you be able to?
The amount of time spent at intensive schools for online students is essentially equivalent to the amount of time you'd spend in the lab as a face-to-face student, like an on-campus student. So, yeah, I have never heard any reports back from ambulance services that there's lack of skills with our online students at all. On the contrary.
And they'd certainly be quick to let us know, I think, if that was the case.
They would. Yes, definitely.
Brilliant. Perfect. Well, that's all the questions that we have that have come through. But look, thank you so much for coming and joining us this evening. If you do have any further questions, you're more than welcome to contact us at fosh-course@csu.edu.au. So that email is just in the chat there, and you can see it up on the screen now. And just include your full name and the course you're inquiring about, just in the subject heading, so we know who to direct that one to. And you can also reach out to schools@csu.edu.au. We're always happy to take any questions, or you can contact our service teams directly. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a lovely evening. And you are free when you leave this meeting. There are additional sessions that you can enter, so you're more than welcome to go into any additional sessions. Thanks so much, everyone. And a huge thank you as well to Louise and Judith, our faculty, as well as Sam and Harrison, our students, for coming along. Really appreciate you participating as well.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks
Thanks
for
so
having
much,
us.
everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.